When was the last time you came to a zoo? Not just any zoo, but Indiana's oldest zoo. Today we're at Mesker Park Zoo and we're in this fantastic space called Amazonia. Right here in Indiana's Great Southwest. Come on in, let's take a look. So the real stars of Mesker Zoo, which is the oldest zoo in the state of Indiana, are the animals, as you can see. I'm here today with Eric Beck. Eric, a lot of us grew up coming to the zoo. What kind of experience should we expect when we come here?
Well, I grew up coming to the zoo as well, and over the last 30 years, zoos have really transformed. So what you can expect when you come to a zoo, a modern zoo, is naturalistic spaces, larger spaces, maybe a few animals living together. So like, for instance, behind us is the capybara and the tapir, which would cohabitate in the wild. And so we try to mimic those areas, mimic their social behaviors. So like, for instance, our tiger area, we have two tigers, but they're never out together because tigers in the wild are solitary animals. So that's how we mimic their social behaviors, we mimic their natural environments, and it's more about that experience more than, like a stamp collection.
Well, you're trying to recreate that kind of experience in an amazing structure called the Amazonia. Can you tell us a little bit about the Amazonia itself?
Yeah, Amazonia was, a 5-year project from design to construction. We're actually celebrating this month, August 2018, our 10-year anniversary of Amazonia being open to the public. So it's seen well over 1.8 million visitors coming to the park to see Amazonia. It's a totally immersive South American rainforest exhibit. Everything from howler monkeys and squirrel monkeys to the tapir to the jaguar, dwarf caiman, fish species, free flight birds, spoonbills, ibises, just a few hundred animals living in a very naturalistic setting. All the plants in here are actual living plants, so it's very much a rainforest.
Tell us about the two animals. As you're seeing, one's in the water right now, but one's walking over. That's the tapir, and this one over here is the...
So the one in the lake or in the river system is our capybara. Her name's Billy. She came to us from another zoo just in the fall of last year. They're actually primarily aquatic. So they live in large gregarious groups in South America in these wetland areas. And you can see how she's partially submerged. She almost looks like a hippopotamus with just her nostrils coming above the water. And then behind her, we saw Huey walking back and forth. And Huey is our Baird's tapir. And a Baird's tapir are actually fairly endangered in the wild. So we're really lucky to have Huey here and Billy.
What kind of educational experiences do you have both for young and old when they come to the zoo?
So in the park, you're going to get a lot of different experiences. You're going to get, first of all, our tram. They do an educational tour, so they'll talk about the animals, their backstories maybe, individual characteristics of each of them. And then we have what's called our docent program, and these are our adult volunteers that volunteer their time at the zoo, and they spend time on zoo grounds interpreting animals. They'll actually have animal interactions that they bring out some of our education collection animals to let the visitors experience firsthand. And then they also go out into the community. So they take the zoo out into the community, whether it's a nursing home or a school or a hospital, to give programs about our conservation and education programs here we do at the zoo.
Well, you also have events at the zoo. So you have one coming up, I think, on September 15th, which is the Fur and Feathers 5K. But the really big one that everybody always talks about is the Boo at the Zoo. Tell us a little bit about those events.
Yeah, Boo at the Zoo is our largest ticketed event we do every year. So we'll do a lot of different visitors. It is a great family event. It's inside the park, so you don't have to worry about traffic, crossing streets. It's family friendly, so we call it a no scare event. You get to see a lot of decorations, a lot of photo opportunities, storytellers, hay rides, lots of candy to give out. And so it's a great event. We do several weekends in October. We do nighttime, and then we also have a daytime that we do on Sunday during the days so that you can go out with the littler ones that maybe you want to put to bed before it gets too dark. And then you mentioned our Fur and Feathers 5K. That's coming up on September 15th, and that's our 5K run that we do inside the park. So these guys and gals run the entire zoo, hills and all, and put in their time for their 5K.
So as you're changing out exhibits and adding the amenities now, I mean, how does that impact attendance? Obviously, when you built Amazonia, you saw a spike in attendance, and you've seen a spike in attendance now with the merry-go-round. I mean, when you add these amenities, does it really have an impact on your ability to attract people into the park?
Yeah, it's always, what have you done lately? And so that's what we always are bringing in new animals. So this year we've had new animals like our Bactrian camel, had a new Indian rhinoceros, a giant anteater, which was brand new, a new young giraffe, and she's still really tiny. That's Clementine, our 1-year-old giraffe, and she's with our girls. But you hit on it. It's attractions as well. So we're always having to whether renovate existing spaces in our park to bring them up to what we consider appropriate, or just renovating an older space, as well as just adding new spaces in the park. So the carousel, the Engelbrecht Carousel, the Cook Family Event Center, and soon to be opening our budgie exhibit, which will be our walk-through aviary, where you'll be able to go in and share the same space as the budgies and purchase a feed stick to feed the animals. So those always add to bringing people back, both on a local level and then on a tourist level.
Well, one of the exhibits that we've certainly heard a great deal about that is on the horizon is the new penguin exhibit. Can you tell us a bit about that as well?
Oh, it's exciting. It's Humboldt penguins, which there are lots of different kinds of penguins. So not all penguins are cold weather penguins. So Humboldt penguins actually live on the coast of Chile and Peru. So they're used to warm air. We'll make the pool for them really, really cold, so they're used to the cold water. But even on a day like today in August, we're here, and it's kind of a muggy day, they'll be outside. So they'll be out in our climate. Humboldt penguins have a special story to tell with their fisheries and where they eat their food, and it's declining, so they need our help. But the exhibit itself is really going to be all sorts of ways to experience the Humboldt penguins, even up close and personal. So we're looking at some really interactive elements.
If you've not had an opportunity to come to Mesker Park Zoo, you need to. It's been a long time for a lot of folks to come here. It's a great amenity for Indiana's Great Southwest.